I like the film somehow to raise more question than answer. I like also to challenge myself to close the door of information. We live in a world that has so much information through internet, newspapers, television, and I want to create a film that has more like an impact on an emotional level.
You had no narration, and you didn't have a score. You used music from the radio station, but you didn't have a score as many films have. Why did you decide to do that?
For me, it was always a challenge in my first film to try to make a documentary film dealing with reality without putting a voiceover or without having any interview with the people that I have in front of the camera. So it's just I want a reality somehow to unfold in front of me, in front of the camera, and be able to grab what the passage, things that comes in front of my camera. Just let this moment, these scenes being a part of the narration, and that's how I try to build the whole film. Through the radio station, I think the music also creates a certain element of narration in the film, because it's a pity. The words also of the songs sometimes are quite important. I love songs, the traditional song of the island. And then there's Mare, which is the title of the film, and is the title of this song, which belongs to the island. This song is related to a tragedy that happened during the Second World War, as the grandmother says to Samuele. And then there is a moment for me of the Exodus of Rossini, which again was playing at the radio, and then I used it in the film on the editing on an emotional way during the scene of the making of the bed, the ritual of the bed. And his expression of listening, that is like a mourning of the tragedy that we just passed through the film, just a few scenes earlier.
And you spent 1.5 years total making the film?
Yeah, from the beginning till the end, because I also edited there. But
and you worked alone?
I work alone. I work as a one-man crew.
Why did you do that?
Because that's allowed me to stay a long time. I cannot afford to stay 1.5 years with a crew in a place, and I cannot afford to have people waiting for the clouds to come, because I mostly shoot also. I like to shoot with the clouds. Clouds somehow they give me this protection on my narrations, like almost like the chorus in the Greek tragedy, which is present, doesn't change the narration, but somehow help to unfold, to move along. So I know that there's certain things that I do and waiting for the right moment. Sometimes I take 2-3 weeks without shooting because there's not place for me to put the camera on, and then when something happens I have to be ready to do that. So that gives you an enormous freedom and gives you an enormous intimacy to the character, because being alone and having 3 people around you, it will break somehow the reality to unfold in front of the camera.
Have you always worked like that as a one-man band?
Yeah, always since my first film, yes, which gave me and discovering the story while I am there on the place, because I never write a script before. I have like an idea of what I want to shoot, but there's not really a narration of how I want to shoot the film.
How did the film that we see now, how did that differ from what your ideas were that you originally wanted to shoot?
We were looking for a partner in France, and when I met Olivier Perc, who is the director of France Cinema of Cinema of Arte, I was not ready to give to have a script or anything. And someone called me and said he wants to meet you. Go now. I said, I don't know what to tell him. And I spent already in Lampedusa 1 month before. I wrote a few notes or something. So I sit there, and when I was sitting there, I kind of start thinking about the film and drawing on a table. We were in a cafe there, and I took a pen. I started writing. Here's the island. Here's Libya. There's a navy boat here that they do this and that. The migrant arrived. Then there's this character that I already met, and I start structuring somehow an idea of a story. And this for 1 hour. And then he asked me, can I take this piece of paper? I said, yeah. Are you giving me the money? I said, yes, I do. And he took the paper. And when we met at the end of the film, the film was delivered to him, he told me, the film is exactly like you told me that day sitting. So somehow subconsciously, the structure was there in my mind of that.